This grid represents an average human lifespan, and modern humans will spend roughly 90,000 hours of their waking existence completely dedicated to a job. That is 1/3 of your life, blocked out on a calendar and handed over to someone else. We accept this massive labor cost because we assume the alternative was worse. The popular myth is that prehistoric life was a frantic daily scramble just to avoid starving to death. But for roughly 300,000 years of human history, employment did not exist. There were no wages, no careers to build, and absolutely no schedules. When anthropologist Richard Lee tracked the Juhonsi people in 1963, one of the few remaining groups living a pre-agricultural lifestyle, he found that adults acquired all their food for the entire week in just about 17 hours. If survival only took 2.5 days of effort, it leaves a massive gap in the week. To understand what our species is actually built for, we need to walk through a typical 24-hour ancient day. You wake up when your body is ready. No alarm clocks. Breakfast is leftover meat or berries from yesterday, eaten around the fire while the group casually plans the morning. You do this out of a natural desire to socialize, not out of obligation. If a group leaves to hunt, it isn't a chaotic sprint. Humans rely on persistence hunting. Because we can sweat and regulate our body temperature, we track animals at a steady jog across the savanna for 3 to 6 hours until the prey overheats and collapses. But you don't do this every day. If the hunt was successful 2 days ago and food is stored safely, you simply don't leave camp. Your morning might instead be spent weaving a basket, sharpening a spear, or scraping an animal hide. There is no supervisor timing you. You craft these items because being skilled earns you respect among your peers. By the early afternoon, everyone eats, and the productive portion of the day is effectively over. You don't need to justify your existence by finding more tasks to complete. This brings us to what modern humans struggle with the most: doing absolutely nothing. Adults would spend roughly 6 hours a day resting in the shade, grooming each other, telling jokes, and playing with children. This diagram illustrates why that leisure time was critical. In a society without money, police, or written contracts, your survival relies entirely on these relationships. If people like you, they share their food when you're hungry. We know ancient humans possessed this immense free time because they left physical proof. Archaeologists routinely uncover artifacts that offer zero practical benefit for survival. Look at this image from Chauvet Cave in France. These horses and lions were painted roughly 30,000 years ago. The perspective, shading, and movement require massive amounts of planning and hours spent deep inside a cave by firelight. And here we see 100,000-year-old perforated seashells from South Africa. Someone walked a 40-kilometer round trip to the coast, then sat for hours carefully drilling these tiny holes with stone tools, just to make jewelry. They didn't squeeze a quick painting in after a grueling 10-hour shift. They created beauty and pursued meaning precisely because they had the ultimate luxury of time. As the sun sets, the dynamic of the camp shifts completely. In 2014, anthropologist Polly Wiesner analyzed hundreds of hours of recorded conversations among modern hunter-gatherers. This data visualization shows that during the day, talk is entirely practical, where to find plants or complaints about sharing. But at night around the fire, 81% of the conversation shifts to storytelling, jokes, and myths about ancestors. Sitting safely in the dark with a full stomach allows the brain to wander. This specific environment is where human culture, spirituality, and abstract thought actually developed. This medieval manuscript illustration shows a person awake in the middle of the night. Historical records and modern sleep studies confirm that before artificial light, humans slept in 2 4-hour phases, broken up by an hour or 2 of quiet reflection in complete darkness. That was the human day: 4 to 6 hours securing food, 6 hours of social connection, and 8 hours of deep, split rest. It was a fulfilled existence that modern life completely lacks. About 10,000 years ago in the Fertile Crescent, humanity planted seeds and domesticated animals. Agriculture generates more calories, which triggers a population explosion. Within a few generations, there are simply too many mouths to feed through hunting and gathering. You are mathematically locked into farming. When archaeologists look at the excavated remains of early agricultural populations, the bones tell a clear story. These early farmers worked harder, ate a poorer diet, and died younger than the foragers who lived before them. Their skeletons reveal stunted growth and severe arthritis in their spines from the repetitive labor of plowing and weeding. Their teeth were riddled with cavities caused by heavy grain diets. As the population swelled, society required full-time specialists. Toolmakers, administrators, and priests emerged, eventually building cities and establishing employment, the idea that your time belongs to someone else in exchange for resources. We traded freedom for food security and massive population growth. Now you spend 90,000 hours of your life working, chasing a retirement that perfectly mirrors the peaceful, schedule-free life your ancestors woke up to every single day.